Alright folks, this is the podcast, July 14th, brought to you by the rain. It's nice because, like I said, I've been doing this podcast out of the garage, and it rained, so instead of it being 93 degrees in here, it's like 83. So I quickly put on my good podcast shirt, and I showered, did my hair. This is what I looked. This is the best I could look. I looked a lot better, I don't know, 30 years ago. Or did I? See, I don't know, because my wife says, I'm cute, I look good. And see, I think that's probably the only thing that truly matters, right? If my wife thinks I look okay, then what's the difference, right? I'm not trying to appease anybody else. I found my soulmate. She's with me for the rest of my life. And she likes what I look like, huh? So I'm happy. And I'm happy that we were able to do this right now. You know, I've been watching the Trump story the whole day. The attempted assassination on the president, the former president. And I'm not happy about all this. You know, it's, first of all, it ruins comedy. You know, because we want to stay in a light-hearted mood. And it's been a long time since I felt like, you know, doing comedy is hard enough when it's just neutral, but start off in a hole. Start off trying to do comedy in a hole, like this country's been in with the COVID bullshit and now this Trump assassination attempt and the bullcrap of the politicians who have not accomplished much in this country at all as far as things that would bring the country to glory again. You know, we would love to see new airports and streets and roads and bridges and infrastructure and take care of problems. We have billions of dollars that we give to other countries that we could use here. I mean, my health care is $2,200 a month. Could I just get a little back from Zelensky? Could I take a little back from the president of Ukraine or whoever else we're giving money to? And believe me, I'm not a political expert. I am someone who has been around. I'm somebody that understands, you know, what's going on. And I also am somebody who could get very jaded over negative news. So I try not to listen to it too much, realizing that that might not be a good idea because I'm a citizen of the country and I need to improve it. But I really think my biggest goal is to entertain people, keep them happy. There's got to be somebody playing the violin while the Titanic's going down. I mean, that's the way it works. Keeping everybody calm until that last minute, because maybe at the last minute we find a lifeboat. Maybe at the last minute we actually steer the Titanic away from the iceberg. Maybe at the last minute the country comes together and we're having fun again. We had fun last night. I did a comedy show. Did a comedy show in Cape Coral, which, if you have not been to Florida, Cape Coral, let's just say if you've never been to Cape Coral. If you've been to Florida, you've probably seen all the regular stuff. You know, the Orlando, Disney, you've seen Busch Gardens probably in Tampa. You've probably been to a beach or two. You know, Cape Coral is, I've been here 32 years. I haven't seen all of Cape Coral. It's near Fort Myers. As you're going in it, you think you might not ever get out. That's how massive and confusing it is. And it's just spread out all over the place. It was very disastrous in 2008 when the housing crisis happened because it just plummeted. All the homes in that area, you know, I don't know what it's like right now. I can't really judge the Cape Coral home market. I can't judge their neighborhoods. I can't judge their shopping centers because I've only seen very little and I haven't spent much time. But I'll tell you what, we had a party last night, and this was before I heard about Trump, right? Thank God. I was able to stay lightheaded, keep the crowd happy, and then we got the bad news later. But we had a great show. We had a sold-out show of people, and mostly older people. A few younger people got lost and wandered in. I say that because I'm always surprised when I see young people at a show in Florida. What are these people doing here? There's got to be other stuff to do. I'm assuming, because when I was young, you would have never caught me in a room. If I'm 25, back in the day, you have never caught me in a room with 50 to 70-year-old people on purpose. And if I was there because I had to make an appearance, because my buddy, one of my friends, we'd always have to stop Go see his dad. Go see his uncles. Go see. I was always in his ear. When the hell are we gonna get out of here? You know, because we had stuff to do. We're 25. We were having a good time. This is not the room where I'm gonna have that great of a time. So when I see young people come to a comedy show, I'm like, yeah, something happened. They got lost. They had nothing to do in Cape Coral. They're more mature than I was, perhaps, when I was a kid, which I see that all the time. Every time I doubt what a young person is doing, I just realize, you know, you weren't that mature. You were very entertained by foolishness and being goofy, and still are. So you're not really the best guide. That's why I was good that you found a woman, you know, my wife, who can say things to at least deter some of the stupidity that I still end up either saying or doing. I don't think I would want it any other way. I don't like that straight-laced, you know, I'm not trying to make a mistake with my mouth. I'm trying to make sure that I don't say anything. I'm not that guy. I'm actually sometimes trying to say something stupid on purpose, right? Which is comedy. When I do comedy, it's not stupidity. It's just you don't think about that, but I do. And here's my take on it, and here's why it's funny. All right? And by the way, if you're hearing the lightning and the rain and all that, it's because I have the garage door open, so I don't sweat through this new yellow Florida look that I got on right now. I'm wearing a yellow shirt. You can't see it unless you're watching the video, which we do on YouTube, by the way. I'm talking directly to my phone now because I'm recording this for my podcast, the audio portion. We are putting it online more than ever, sticking it out there, seeing what's going on. And I'm not dressing up, but I've removed the black shirt because I used to wear black all the time. It's kind of a symptom of Ohio. The black shirt was a symptom of the disease that was kind of a depressed, tougher, rough, rust belt, working class thing. That black shirt. Don't wear yellow. Yellow? What are you having fun? What are you wearing yellow for? You think this is you're supposed to be working, bro. You got yellow on. You're gonna go in there with a yellow shirt on, and then what? Yellow would eventually turn black if you had a shirt that was yellow, because you were working in construction, or I mean that's what we were doing, or coal mines, I guess, steel, boating, industry. Yeah, that's what people do. You don't see the bright yellow shirt. This is an indication that I have matured in the Florida environmental fashion. This is my environmental fashion of Florida, the bright yellow sun that I am adorning on my chest right now. Yeah, so I don't know. It's hotter than balls down here, and it's sunny all the time. I like it. I do like it, because when I go back to Cleveland, I was cold. I was cold for months. And I was like wearing a blanket in the house, walk into the kitchen with a blanket on, and I had a fire going, and it was like 50. And you know, my cousins were calling me thin skin and you know, bad things, bad names. Sometimes I don't know if I should say the words. I say it on stage, but I don't think it's a necessary thing for me to constantly say the words pussy. That was what I was gonna say. Pussy, hey, you're a pussy. Because it's such a word that it divides people. The word pussy, it divides people along pussy lines. We don't use that word. We say wimpy. We say soft. We say, what is the new one? Soy boy, whatever the hell they're saying. Pussy's a good word. Look, I've oversaid pussy now. I wasn't gonna say it, and now it's all pussy. That's all I'm doing is saying pussy. But yeah, they will call you pussy if you're wearing a yellow shirt, or if you have an umbrella, or if you know, are sweating and you complain. That's how they used to be, by the way. I keep thinking they're the same way, but everybody's in their 60s now, and they truly are pussies now. I can't even bust the balls of my so-called tough cousins anymore, because it seems like they want that rapport, and then you go a little deeper, you know, you dig a little further, and then they pull back, and they're like sad. I'm like, I know you. I've known you since birth, and that's how you're acting. Like you're a little scared victim, sad boy because I said something. I was joking, like you were joking just 2 seconds ago, but all of a sudden you flipped the script because I got you, and then you got in. You went. I call this gas knife sadness. Gas knife sadness. We're busting balls. I throw some fucking gas on the fire. You try to stab me. You forgot about the joking. You come at me with the full blown, I'm gonna kill you, and then you regret doing that, so you get sad. Gas knife sadness. I want people to not forget who they are. I don't know what's going on. As you age, why do you gotta be different? I know you have to be mature, but why do you have to be softer? As a man, for sure. Now, I think women have a lot to do with it. I'm sorry, ladies, and you're causing a lot of problems. You're causing problems by making men do things that they should never be doing and dragging them into situations they should never do. And my classic example of this is singing happy birthday to little children. Now, if the guy volunteers, he wants to come in and sing happy birthday, he's got a voice, he likes choir, he's a singer, whatever. But most guys, you know, we've always been in the background and listened. You know, happy birthday, it's our kid. Even for our own child, I'm not doing the rambunctious happy birthday because I don't feel it is a tradition, it is something contrived by someone who created it. It's a nice thing to do. I'm not stopping it. I'm just saying, and I'm participating in all the other things. Like I'll eat the cake, I bring the gift, I say happy birthday because it is something. But if you force your husband, he's in the garage, he's with his buddies. This is the problem. The guys get back together when they're married and separate themselves in a garage, right? We're playing darts, we're drinking a beer, not a ton of beer, right? You've seen this, you know this. If you're a guy, you do this. But some of the wives come out and they destroy the party that the men are having. Well, where is he? Why isn't he here? Who gives a shit? Let him stay in the garage. He don't care about singing happy birthday, okay? And the kid don't care either. My kids had parties with 20 to 50 people. They never looked at me when they were opening gifts. Never. My wife sat right next to the kid every time. They were happy. Mom's there. If dad is in the house, you should be happy. If dad is participating by bringing in folding tables for the guests, you should be happy. That's what he wants to do. Don't take him out of his element. Soften him. Make him wear a yellow shirt. And, you know, bring him to the point where he's lost everything that he ever believed in, and you told him it was wrong. You told me he had to adjust. You told me he had to be domesticated. Wow. You see his garage? This is a garage full of my shit. My stuff. And sometimes my wife will come out here and say, well, you should have put this there. No, no. I love her. She's got the whole house to decorate. This shit is mine. This is functional. I got my tools. Right? You see that in the back? I have a set for my YouTube videos. I got my crap, my blow mold Santas. I got a record player that you can't see. I got albums. I got cassette, DVD. I got shit over there. Batman, I got crap hanging from the ceiling, Christmas lights, the whole thing. It's like all the things that I remember in life that and I bring shit from life into this garage, right? Pictures or posters or souvenirs that were not made in China. These things were, I hate the word curated because it's a bullshit word. All it means is the guy grabbed something off a shelf. I took something off a telephone pole in Hoboken, New Jersey, and I put it in my garage. You know, a poster that I saw. Or I got this little no smoking placard from Stuttgart, Germany. It says, Bitte nicht rauchen. I over-exaggerated that, it's probably not right. Bitte nicht rauchen. Bitte nicht rauchen. Maybe it's pretty good, that's pretty good. It means no smoking, please, right? It's this little tiny cardboard pyramid that is nothing to some people. This means nothing to anyone. This authentic German placard from the hotel room that I stayed in Germany. right? It even has the smell of smoke when we smoked in the room looking at the sign. No, I don't smoke really. I don't smoke, but that sign came with me, and imagine keeping it. You can't see it if you're listening to the podcast, so watch the video. But imagine keeping it in this type of shape where it is perfect. There's not one bent corner on it. It's still the pyramid. It still looks good, and it's been here since I brought it back, along right next to my McDonald's Happy Meal train set that I got years ago. And I keep out here. I light up my Seagram's light. I'll put that Seagram's light on, right? That little Seagram's light that I bought in Cleveland and shipped here. Paid like $5 at a garage sale. Cost me like $30 to ship it, $40 to ship it. Because it means something to me. It means something to me. This button right here in the back is a picture of me and my cousin Frankie. The 63-year-old guy that sometimes gets a little soft on me. See, if he heard that, he would get nuts. But sometimes he gets a little soft, and I gotta tell him, you know, let's stop with the soft, with the hurt feeling thing. But that picture, that button, we took that somewhere in Valdosta, Georgia. I'm on my way to a comedy show in Georgia. He flew into Sarasota, and he said to me, well, I'll go with you, but how far is it? And I knew he wouldn't go if I told him the truth. So I said, it's about a couple hours. It's like 6 hours to get to the show, right from here. And after 2 hours, he was like, I thought we were gonna, no, it's another 5 hours. He wasn't happy. We're in a Cavalier that my wife bought in Los Angeles that was, by the time we brought it here to Florida, it was beat. No air, no heat. And at that time it was January, so we needed heat. This thing was blowing cold air. The cold air was coming through. We had stuffed the vents with Kleenex. The whole way up, we went to a Waffle House for the first time for both of us. Ended up going to the mall because he wanted to buy a suit, and then saw the button kiosk. And he wanted to take the picture. And I didn't, because I'm like, it's too much money for that, it's stupid. We took it. And then the picture bothered me because my hair looked bad compared to his. He's got great hair. And he's taller than me. So I didn't look so good in see, I have a theme about how I look. But I realized 30 years later, that button, by the way, has been with me in every garage for 30 years. And I've only moved 1, 2, 3, 4 times since. That's a lot of moving, but not for a comedian. That button's been with me. That button does not, it's not just a picture of me and my cousin, it's a memory of a time. And that's what this garage is. It's all the shit that nobody else would really care about. You know, all this stuff that I've accumulated that some people wanted to throw away. Pictures of my relatives, right? Christmas bells that I've hung, that was my mother-in-law's in her home. Little spice cabinets filled with incense when I decide to burn incense while I'm listening to some music and drinking my whiskey. These things is where the man wants to go. A hole. I don't like a pretty hole. I like a hole that is not contrived. A hole that's not set up like a strip mall with, you know, the stuff that you can get from Home Depot. Everybody wants to make their man cave, their home, they all look the same. You go to a house today and it's all that gray shit with the granite, and it's just over and over and over the same crap. The cookie cutter, what we used to call cookie cutter, right? It's not unique. This is unique. It might not be what you want. I think it is. I think it's what you want. You just don't have the balls. You don't have the balls, you pussy. You don't have the balls to ask for what you want. What do I care about new furniture and beauty? I don't. I'm very comfortable in this naugahyde or corduroy chrome. It's like a corduroy and chrome bar stool, right? This is, I bought 40s at a garage sale for like 12 bucks. Classic stuff. Perfect for me. You know, I'm a grassroots guy. I don't know. I mean, I had a big house. We had a shitload of furniture. We spent a ton of money on it. But I sold it because after a while, when the kids, hang on, let me look at the time here. When the kids left the house and it was just me and my wife, I was like, we need to experience the world. And our world is very small. So let's experience it, and then we'll move on to the other worlds. But I sold the house. I had a 4-car garage. All you do with more space is accumulate stuff. And if it's fine if you use it. You know, I use everything. I'm very proud of that. I'm a thrifty person because I save shit, but I also find uses for things that, you know, might take you a little more effort. Like today, I cut a piece of that wire that's hanging on my pegboard. It's like a heavier gauge, not very bendable. It's not picture wire. It's supposed to be for anything that you hang over, like 30 pounds, 50 pounds. You could use that wire. It's not normal picture wire, I should have said. And I don't really use it a lot. But today, my wife is like, the sink, it's clogged. You know, like, she's been telling me for days. And I made out of the heavy gauge wire, instead of ripping the sink apart and taking it apart, the P-trap, the whole works, I usually make a long wire with a hook at the end and shove it down and start ripping the hair out and pulling it through the sink. And that solves the problem. Solves it for a decent amount of time until I got to do it again. It's not the way most people do it, but it works, and I use something that I didn't throw away. That heavy gauge wire, I'm thinking I'm going to give it away. I'm not giving that away. I packed all this into a storage unit until we found this condominium that we're living in now. Because I don't know if you even know what it costs for a friggin' screw out there. But every time I move my kids into their dorms and their apartments, and I had to go to a local hardware store to buy 2 screws that I got here in this garage, but I couldn't get to my garage because I'm in New York City, I'm in Baltimore, I'm in Gainesville, and I got to take care of them. I remember paying some stupid money for bolts and nuts when I got them right here. I'm hanging on to it. I know that's a sickness in some ways, right? I know it's a sickness, but I had to go to IKEA and buy these. This is not something I would buy, but I was in New York City, right? And this is an assortment of screws. I don't know what the hell I paid for it. There's no way you're gonna go through this. There's no way, but I'm not buying 1 screw for 50 cents. I'm buying 1,000 screws for $5. And I'll hang on to them and use them over and over and over and over. That's just the way I am. It's smart. It's very smart. So this garage is loaded with things. First of all, it is loaded with things that are utilitarian. I need everything, right? I'm gonna need this snow brush when I go back to Cleveland. When I go back to Cleveland, I'm gonna need that snow brush. But I don't want to see it. It shouldn't be there on top of my, it's on my stereo right now. It's bothering me because what happened the other day is my Christmas lights, my candelabra fell out of the ceiling. It took down the whole thing came crashing down, ripped down the blow mold Santa, and then my Batmobile, which I still have the tag on because I got this as a gift from somebody. This is another memory, a gift from a contractor that brings me Batman toys every time he sees me, including that Batman sign there that you see behind me. This came off its shelf. It's supposed to be up here somewhere, right? But I don't have any space for it because of this small little garage, and now it ended up on my turntable. That's not where it goes. I'm going to fix that. I need some extra time to work on this. Right now we're in the construction school mode. I got 2 more seminars left, and then we travel. We start doing comedy shows all over the country, go back up to Cleveland, and then come back here again for more comedy shows. I won't be doing construction school for 2 years. And I'll have plenty of time to get back to the podcasting, get back to the videos, get back to all the things, the new websites, all those things I want to do. Writing more material. I wrote some great jokes last night, man. Some good stuff, and it killed. I was on fire. I was on fire last night. We had a lady that wouldn't shut the fuck up, and today's comedians would have handled it differently. I know how nice everybody wants to be. I know we don't want to offend nobody, and we don't want the restaurant or the establishment that's hosting, and you should be humble that they're booking. I know all this, but if you have someone that disrupts the show, you think about the big picture. I had 105 people, sold out show. They paid probably 20, 25 bucks a head for these tickets. And one person is going to ruin the good time of 104 people. No way in hell. Not in my book. I will sacrifice the booking. I will sacrifice the pay. I will sacrifice everything because I am not going to let that happen. So I got in her face. I started ripping on her. Pretty good. Not to the point where it was harsh or harmful. It was just true to what she was saying back to me. The crowd was on my side. We let it go. But then she came back and she wanted more. And then I had to compare her to Brigitte Nielsen and her boyfriend Flavor Flav. And I sang a little 911 as a joke. And I started really, because I know what I'm doing, folks. I know what I'm doing. Sometimes I pray for hecklers. Don't you understand? I am from the Don Rickles mode. I come from aggressiveness. I like to rip. I have this in me, a fire in me to go at you. And it might not be funny. So you got to be careful. You have to be careful as a comedian because it's got to be funny. So I was pulling back, but she came back. And then eventually I warned the booker. I said to the booker, she's going to ruin this show. You got to get rid of her. And he did. Took her out. And for another hour, we killed. I killed. And he called me a killer. He called me a killer. It's a good feeling. Like, you're a killer. It means I slaughtered that room for 60 minutes. Everything that I was, because I've been working on the act pretty steadily, and it's all stuck in the head. And sometimes I worry I can't remember everything, but it comes out. It comes out. And it comes out not in the order that I maybe planned it to come out, but it comes out in an order that makes sense. And every time my wife watches my show, which she goes to almost every show right now, I'm going to say that she's at 95% of all shows. She's there. And she says to me, the reason that she can watch me is because I don't say the same things the same way every time. That it's interesting. Now, if this woman can do this, and she's not a liar. She's not saying it because she's my wife or she wants to get in with me or she needs to impress. Absolutely not. She'll be the first one to rip on my ass. If I miss a joke, she'll be the first one to tell me that I was not funny. So when she says something like, I was interested. I actually was interested in watching you. You killed. And then I know I've done something. And it's tough to know when you've done something as a comedian. There's only one thing, which is laughter. Laughter is all you really want, but you can't bottle it. You can't take it home. It's not something I can look at the next day unless I video it. And most of that time, it doesn't come out right. Because you don't mic the crowd. Typically, I'm not Sebastian. I'm not Bill Burr. I'm not Louis. I've never spent the money making my own Netflix special. I've been lucky. I've been lucky if the video comes out. And sometimes it does. It's probably a mistake. Probably. I'm sure with a great video, capturing the mic, capturing the crowd, that I get more work. And that's the key. Because more work, the better I get at this. And I don't think I'm doing anything else. I've tried, man. I tried to hang a chandelier the other night. I don't know if you can see my fingers. This is burnt. This is burnt. Right? I don't think these burn marks are going to go away. I grabbed a hot screw in a hot attic. I was wearing jeans. I was going up to look at the electrical box. Now I know what I'm doing. I know how to wire it. But this electrical box was 16 feet in the air. I had a 12-foot ladder. I'm about 5'5". That's a problem when you work way up high. So, wasn't easy. I was doing it. And I was drilling a screw with an impact driver. And the screw, the drill was turning, the screw was not. Didn't realize it was heating that screw up. I went to grab it, and I grabbed it so hard that I think I burned. I felt like I went to the bone. I really did. Now I'm going to see a dermatologist this week because I got some shit on my neck and these two fingers now, and I got something on my toe. So we'll find out what happened. What kind of idiot am I? Now when I Googled this and read all the people, even professional contractors that this happens to, including my cousin, it makes you feel a little bit better, but you see how dangerous this shit is. And it made me think twice. I got another chandelier to hang that's a little higher. It is not fun to think about going back way up there unless you got the right ladder again. This was a problem because even though I had the right ladder, the chandelier was hanging off a hook that was not secure. So I had to go into the attic on a slant because I have like a cathedral or a slanted, what do you call that, ceiling. So I'm working at a 45-degree angle in 120-degree heated Florida attic on July 4th. I'm sweating out, you see this? And it's cool outside. I was dying. and I had to put a 2x4 between the rafters to support this chandelier. Okay, the camera went off again because it's a 30-minute Canon SD, what is this camera? EOS 70D. Didn't realize when I bought it that it goes off after a half hour, so I got to get up and hit the button again. But I realized after doing, and I don't want to be a photographer, I don't want to be an editor, I want to be the entertainer. I have cash to pay for people to help me. But you see what's behind me? You understand where I came from? I'm a Cleveland poor kid, no matter how long I live. That's the mentality. So I like to do things that I can do for myself, and probably because people told me as a kid that I couldn't do it, that I was a pussy. And they did. They said it a lot when I was a kid. All of a sudden they don't say it no more. When I get old enough to say it, they don't say it anymore. Yeah, so I have something to prove to myself, because no one sees the work except me and my wife and the kids, you know. But I'm not interested in doing that as a living. I want to entertain, so I'm gonna, you know, use the video, use the podcast to get more gigs. That's the purpose of all this, right? You want to get more work and practice your craft. Oh, how gay that sounded. Practice your craft. That's what it is, though. You have to practice what you're doing, get better at it. It's very interesting how that works, you know, for everyone. How good. Humans are good, man, at getting what they want or accomplishing. You know, once they start working on something, they get so good at it. You watch somebody and they make it look easy. Comedy is like that. You know, it's not easy for me, especially new material, and to write it. The discipline is not easy. Once you get in the groove, it feels natural. I felt 100% on my game. Very happy last night. Entertaining. The crowd was loving it. The booker was loving it. My wife loved it. Everything was going beautiful, right? And I went over my time, and I tried some new material. So I felt, okay, good, good. This part of your life is working out while you're on stage. And I don't know if you heard this before, but a lot of comics feel like that. That their life is rough, but they feel most comfortable on stage when they're working. And it's not like this is a long-term game. Like if you're an actor, you have a full day, right? I'm sure they get up early, they work into the night, they have other actors. It's a whole day, and it could be weeks or months or maybe years of acting. Comedy is just that 1 hour on stage, you know. And sometimes you have 2 shows, so maybe 2 hours. But the majority of my life, I didn't do the Wednesday through Sunday clubs. I stopped doing that a long time ago, and it faded. You know, the clubs went to Friday, Saturday for a long time, so there weren't that many shows to perform. So you don't really get the experience. So good for podcasting. It's good that came out. Good for us, because we get another chance to kind of entertain. It's not the same thing, but it does help mentally to be able to podcast, to try to entertain. You don't have any feedback. If there was people here, I probably would be funnier. You know, because the laughter gives you an indication that you're on the right track, and then you start massaging that track. You know, you start making that track funnier and working that track, right? And then the crowd starts picking up on it, and then they start really going, and then you're on a roll, right? If there's no one to tell me if I'm on the right track except my own brain, which laughing at myself while I'm talking would be a whole nother level of mental illness that I'm glad I don't have that. I'm glad I have the, you can hear that it's kind of funny, but you're not laughing at yourself like some weirdo. As I laugh at myself, but it's not like with that, you know, I'm talking about someone who's just constantly in that walking stage, walking around, talking, laughing at themselves. Someone that's a little loopy. It's great for comedy, but I'm sure that's not a great life. So being a comic, getting that feedback, and only getting it now, I mean, this is my 2nd show in 2 weeks. I haven't performed, it's once every 2 weeks. There's no way to get consistency on stage. There's no way to get better at that bit. I mean, I know who I am. I know my voice. I know what I'm going to do. I know how I'm going to act. But the bit, to say the words. You know, when I was working those Wednesday through Sunday, I had 8 shows. I was saying those words night after night after night after night. By Sunday, I was a champion. And then the following week, I had the same thing. So you became a champion. Right? My first routines, which were construction, and then family, and then graduated into sexual, my wife, and then more of having children. And these routines, I probably have 6 or 7 spots that I could add specials, right, of certain material. Even the beginning routine, which was not, it was rubbers and hemorrhoids. That was the first bits that I talked about. So I was good at those routines. I was really good at them. And when I gave them up, I had to move on to the next thing. Well, this next batch of material is tough. If you're doing it every 2 weeks, you got to do it night after night after night. Well, I don't have that much of a life to have that leisure of taking my time. I got to make sure that I do this stuff more often. With construction school, which is what I got, it's a humorous educational school for contractors. I use humor, and the seminars are quite long. It's 14 hours, so there's plenty of time to make jokes or to search for new material or to practice mannerisms, that kind of stuff. So it's a benefit of that, but it's a different venue and the people are not happy. I mean, they are for the first 2 hours, but imagine being there for 14 hours. It's state mandated. It's not easy. So they're going to lose. And I got to give them a lot of credit, because I've had these same people come to me since 1997. They are very happy to see me. They tell me that I should never quit. They sometimes use it as a vacation. They really do love the seminar. And I think we provide value and comedy and entertainment. So the problem is for me is, that's not the dream. That wasn't the dream. Right? I was hoping to be Sebastian, or what he achieved, or my first jealous, envious relationship, Eddie Murphy, or watching Kinnison, or seeing any of the guys that have big stages, 90 shows in 10 months, big ticket prices, fan base, a following. Every comic wants that, of course. You know, every comic wants it, because we want that. It is verification. Now, there's a lot of funny people, very funny people, who don't have that, right? Not just me. There's so many people that I think are super funny. So it's something else. First of all, there's just not that much room for everyone to have theater tours. Just not that much room. There's not that much room for comedy clubs. You know, the local comedy club here has 52 weeks available, 52 comics. That's all they can book for the year. I'm thankfully one of them. And there's clubs all over the country, but do the numbers. It's going to be tough to break in. It's tough to travel. You can get on a cruise ship. Cruise ships are probably the best starting grounds. Not starting, because you can't start and just get on a cruise ship. The best proving grounds. You know, I've had friends that have been on cruise ships for years, and it's a sacrifice. But if you want to do your act over and over and over and over again and get super good at it, that's the place to do it. That's too much of a sacrifice for me. So I'm asking for so much. Like, I don't want as much sacrifice, but I would like a theater tour, and I'd like to do my act whenever I want, in whatever arena. You know, I have a lot of stipulations. At this time of year, and if I need a break, you know, it doesn't work like that. The way it works is you have to do what everybody wants you to do. I've never been good at that. You want me to do what? Oh, yeah. I'll agree to it. And then I'll go back home and I'll be like, not doing this. Or I'll take it, and then my attitude doing it is too poor. And this is not current. This is kind of the history of me. I see the problems that I have created for other people who are trying to accomplish things, and my role was just to perform. Well, maybe I didn't want to travel. Maybe I didn't want to stay the full week. Maybe I got tired of my own. I don't know. So there's a lot of sacrifice, and all the people that have gone through it have paid prices, unbelievable prices. Some people have paid with their lives, right, with the cocaine abuse and the drug use and the drinking, to kind of settle themselves down and prepare themselves for what is going on in their life, to handle what's happening with the road work and the nightlife and the lack of community and family and no cohesiveness. And it's, look, I've always blew my mind when a great band like a Pearl Jam or a Guns N' Roses, you know, stop playing. I mean, how? Why? Why would you give it up now? You made it. They must have taken such a beating. They were sick of it. So sick of it, they left. So I'm still in the game. I'm still in the game, but I don't want to give up too much still. I like this little garage. We got a place in Cleveland. We got a garage just like that up north. We'll make a video, a podcast up there when we go back up there. It's tough to give up the great stuff because this is what I wanted. This was my end goal. I got my end goal before I got my comedy success goal, right? I used to talk to one of my friends about this. You want to be a comedian, what's the purpose? What's your end goal here? We'll have enough money, then we buy a house, and then we have a garage, and then we have blow mold Santas, and we have, you know, Iowa gnomes. We get those and we put them on shelves, and we have beer can collections, and you could play your records and have a whiskey. Well, guess what? I could do that before the comedy success blew up. I started making a lot of money doing comedy. I just didn't get the levels of success, which meant I had to sacrifice other things. Well, I didn't want that other part. I didn't want that road part all the time. What I wanted was this. I got this. And now that I have it, now I'm reevaluating and saying, well, I'd like to have both. I'd like to have both. I think I could squeeze in both. I think I could work the road, get some more, not the full comedy satisfaction, but get what I want, and then also come back to the garage and have some fun and have a whiskey. All right, that's it for today. We have, look, it's Sunday. Really, it's a Sunday. I should be laying down. I drove to Cape Coral last night. I had a beautiful show. I did some work around the house for my wife. I've been working all week on the act. I made a podcast. See, accomplishments to make me feel good about now going to lay down on the couch.